Hello, and welcome to my review of the Ortega Striped Suite Nylon String Guitar. In this review, I'll be going over this instrument's strengths and weaknesses so that you can decide if it is right for you. At the end of the video, I'll say what kind of player I would recommend this guitar to, as well as give some extended playing samples. All of the music you will hear in this video was played on this Ortega guitar and composed by yours truly. Before we begin, I'd like to thank Julian from Ortega for reaching out to me through my Instagram at Charles Alexander Allred and sending me this instrument. First off, some general info about the guitar includes an Alaskan spruce top, striped ebony back and sides, mahogany neck, fan bracing, and a retail price of around $800. Now for the guitar's strengths. Beauty. This is without a doubt a beautiful looking instrument. Everything from the appearance of the wood grain, tuning pegs, headstock, binding, and rosette contribute to a very refined and elegant looking guitar, while the thick glossy finish certainly helps solidify the overall look. Functional hardware. Hardware on a guitar in this price range can either be a pro or a con, depending on your needs. However, there are a couple of interesting pieces here that are worth mentioning. First is an adjustable truss rod in the neck. This is a feature that is virtually non-existent for classical guitars and can really come in handy for adjusting neck bowing issues without having to take your guitar to a specialist. My favorite piece of hardware on this guitar is the built-in armrest. Not only does it look beautiful, but it really makes the motion of your arms sliding back and forth across the edge of the guitar feel much smoother. A strap button is an added bonus if you typically use a strap when playing, and these as well are also not usually included on nylon string guitars. Reasonable price. Price is certainly a factor when deciding whether or not to buy an instrument, and this guitar is very fairly priced. Although we will be coming back to this topic later, if you are looking for a good basic nylon string guitar that won't break the bank, the Ortega Striped Suite will fit that mold. Good sound and sustain. To my ears, the Ortega Striped Suite guitar has more sustain than most classical guitars I've played. I am not sure if it is due to the body construction or the added heftiness in the neck due to the truss rod, but sustain is definitely a strength here. I would describe the tone quality as good. Not exceptional, but versatile enough for the player who doesn't require a fully handmade instrument. After playing the guitar intensely for about a week's time, I noticed the top changing and adapting to my sounds and playing style, which is a great sign for long-term ownership of the guitar. The last strength I'll mention is the gig bag that this guitar came with. I'm not certain that if you purchase this guitar it will include this exact gig bag, but if it does, it's one of the best of its kind I've ever seen. Oftentimes, gig bags can be made of thin materials that don't offer much protection, but this is the exception. It is extremely padded, making for a snug and protective fit around the guitar, and includes multiple smaller pockets, which are also very padded, for storing accessories. Now that we're done going over the guitar's strengths, let's discuss its weaknesses, of which I really only feel the need to point out two. The first includes the pieces of hardware that I didn't mention as strengths, such as the nut, saddle, fret wire, and especially the tuners. Manufacturers of guitars at this price point have to save money somewhere, and usually hardware is one of these areas. A beginner or casual player may not be bothered by the performance of this hardware, but the serious player probably will be. Having the nut and saddle replaced with a more dense bone material, or even brass, would definitely enhance the guitar's sound. As for the tuners, they worked great right out of the box, but after using them for about a week, I already noticed them not working quite as well. I wouldn't expect them to hold up functionally for too long. The other main weakness is that, despite some of the advertising I've seen around these guitars, this is not what I would call a handmade instrument. What this basically means is that this guitar will have a much lower ceiling than a higher quality, more expensive, fully handmade guitar. That being said, this really shouldn't be an issue, as long as you know what you're getting. So what kind of player might I recommend this guitar to? Well, if you're a beginning or casual player in the market for a good sounding nylon string guitar that looks beautiful and has some above average bells and whistles, then I think this guitar would be a great fit for you. For the working player, this guitar would work great for gigging and touring, as the thick glossy finish will keep the guitar protected, and the adjustable truss rod will allow you to deal with any significant changes in humidity. For the serious player looking to shape their technique through the study of sound production, I would instead recommend a handmade nylon string guitar. It's likely to cost at least 5 times as much, but when it comes to studying sound and technique, there's no substitute for a guitar of this magnitude. For this type of player, I would actually recommend getting a cheaper model to start out, something around $200 or $300, and then saving your money until you can afford a handmade nylon string guitar. Thanks for watching, and if you have a guitar or piece of gear you'd like me to review, let me know through my Instagram at CharlesAlexanderAllred, or through the contact page on my website, charlesalexanderallred.com.